Hello, welcome back to the Conversations with Caleb and Carter.
Today's topic is the Timberwolves and the NBA playoffs. So I guess let's start with today's game. 16th, Timberwolves played the Grizzlies, and it was a pretty close game. Ended up 130 to 117.
130 to 117, yep.
The Timberwolves got off to an early lead, but Grizzlies battled back. It was pretty much a close game after the first quarter all the way to the end when the Timberwolves pulled away. And for Timberwolves fans, I feel like all the Timberwolves fans knew this was a matchup we wanted. That's why beating the Clippers was huge. Because we split the series against the Grizzlies this year, and our two wins I kind of felt were more blowouts, where theirs were much closer, and both teams the games they won, they were at home, and in this series we've already won an away game, so that's huge, I think.
So I'm no Timberwolves fan, but I'm just looking at the box scores, and they were almost 40% from the three-point line.
Yeah, that was a huge factor in the game. Specifically, I think Jaden McDaniels was huge. I think he was 5 for 6, and he had like 15 points or something. Very good, and to be honest, moving on in this series, I don't think Jaden McDaniels is going to play that well. He's much more of a defender. He's not really a big scorer, but if he blossoms in the playoffs, that's great. I think the same goes for Anthony Edwards, who he can be great, and then he can be very, very mid. And he is on a hot streak right now. He had a 49-point game right before the playoffs.
36 points for this last game.
And then he had another 30 bomb against the Clippers. So he's definitely in a groove right now. But for one, especially his mid-range, which is not... It's definitely the weakest part of his offensive game. And he was just automatic tonight. Step backs on mid-range, hitting tough shots. I don't think he'll do that the whole series. But if he does, we're going to win it easily. But if he doesn't, I think we can be fine too, because we have 3 superstars. We have D'Angelo Russell, Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards. D'Angelo Russell, I think, was 1 for 10, maybe 2 for 11 or something. He wasn't that good, and we still won and we're fine. Whereas the Grizzlies, one thing I heard during the announcer said Dylan Brooks was gone for all their games, which I guess I didn't know or I forgot about. And I think he was 100% from 3, so I think it's good we handled him. But another factor, I think, is Jalen Noel, who didn't play a single minute. And I think coming off the bench, if Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell, both of them are cold, maybe foul trouble at some point, he will be... If their mid-ranges, both of them aren't going, he has the best mid-range on the team. I don't think he has the greatest defense. He's lower in the rotation, but best mid-range. He can play a huge part in 1 or 2 games this series, and I think Finch is saving him. Anything you see in there you want to talk about?
No, the only stat that really stuck out to me was the 3-point percentage. Another one that sticks out to me, I would say, is the 17 turnovers they had, which isn't terrible, but
Timberwolves had 17?
Yeah, they had 17.
Okay, that's actually great, because I forgot to talk about that. The Timberwolves, when they struggled the second quarter, when they had all the turnovers, I want to point out what the announcers were talking, it was like, wow, the Grizzlies are doing this when Ja is on the bench. Which the Grizzlies are a great team when they don't have Ja. I think they're ridiculously good. They're like 18-3, 18-2. They are crazy good without him. But I think more importantly, Karl Anthony Towns wasn't on the floor. And Naz Reid is pretty good. He can shoot the three as a center, which I think it's very useful for both of our centers to have the three in their arsenal. But he did not play well. He got like 3 fouls right away. I don't think he scored at all. And I think he can do better. And I think in the future, playoff nerves. I don't know what it was, but he had an offensive foul, so he just not great minutes from him at all. But another thing is, I do not know why. I get the Grizzlies have 10 more wins, but do you want to look up their record against teams above 500? Because I do not think the Grizzlies are that good of a team against teams over 500. And to the veteran on their team, I think Steven Adams, who is not good. He's no comparison to Karl Anthony Towns. They have Jarrett Jackson. That may not be his name.
26-24 with a win percentage above 500.
So they're barely above average against teams over 500.
Wait, that might be versus. Let me see if I can find something more reliable.
Okay. That was a lot of games for teams over 500, actually, so I don't think that's right.
Well, I think that was an all-time against one team.
Oh, okay. So the Grizzlies don't really have a vet or an answer to stop Towns, which maybe they do, and I think we have the advantage because we have Pat Bev, we have Taurean Prince, Kat, D'Lo. They've all actually been in the playoffs, especially though Pat Bev, because the Grizzlies. Why is there this mindset that, especially Stephen A, thinking the Grizzlies are gonna blow by us, when this generation of Grizzly players, they have not ever won a playoff series. I think they won one game in the playoffs last year. So there's no reason there should be this conception that it's going to be an easy go for the Grizzlies. I think realistically, I think the Timberwolves can win this in 6. I don't think it'll go to 7 games. I think the Grizzlies will probably win on, is it Monday, Tuesday they play next? I think they'll win that game. They were a little rusty, and they haven't played in a week. We played in the play-in tournament, so kind of got used to that playoff environment, I guess. But it should be a pretty good series. Did you find their record against teams above 500?
No, I couldn't.
I'll see if I can find it.
It's a fairly specific stat you're looking for.
Yeah, and I think another thing is that Timberwolves have been very hot since the All-Star break. And to be quite frank, once the Timberwolves got D'Angelo Russell, I knew we had the talent to be a playoff team, but everyone was getting injured last year. It just didn't go out. So I don't think it really should be a surprise at all that we're doing so good. And someone I didn't mention is Malik Beasley, who had 23 points. He can light it up from downtown. I think he got the franchise record this year with 11 three-pointers made. So he's an elite scorer. So we have 4 players who can drop 30, who have dropped 30 multiple times. So I think the Timberwolves should win the series. And moving on, let's just go through a quick prediction of the Timberwolves. And I think, let's put it this way. Let me list why I think the Timberwolves can make it to the NBA Finals. Second round, it would be the Nuggets or the Warriors. The Nuggets don't have Jamal Murray, so there's one guy you got to stop. That's Jokic. We have Vanderbilt, we have Towns, we can do that. No concern at all. The Warriors, I was very worried about the Warriors, but Steph Curry is hurt. He just said in an interview he's still feeling his ankle. So I don't think he's 100% or will be at all, and I think that is huge. And I think we could take the Warriors in 7, and I think the Warriors are going to beat the Nuggets. Then I think the Suns, who I think the Suns were overrated, especially last year when every team they beat had like a star player who was hurt. I think Nuggets, it was Jamal Murray. The Clippers, Kawhi, I forget who else they played. But I didn't really think, I thought it was like the lamest trip to the NBA Finals ever. But this year, I mean, they're a lot better. So beating them in the Western Conference Finals, I would say the key would be Devin Booker. Just get him frustrated. We have Pat Bev to do that. And mainly, I just don't think Devin Booker's there yet. I don't think he's that great defensively. I think he's great offensively, but I think we can shake him off his game. I mean, he had that little incident with the Toronto Raptors mascot, let alone like a whole. I guess he played very well in the playoffs, but I think Pat Bev could throw him off. I think in a way of, if we just have a very strong environment, and I think it's going to come down to bench players. I think we have a much better bench than the Suns. I do think the best player on that court probably, in terms of IQ, it's obviously Chris Paul, but we'll see what happens. The Suns are a very good team. They're consistent. They're experienced now. I think that'll be a 7-game series if it comes to that. And of course, I'm going to pick the Timberwolves. In conclusion, Timberwolves got this. Biggest win of the year was against the Grizzlies by 43. We got this in 6. If we win Tuesday, it'll be a 5-game series.
Can't wait to see the Bucks go back to back.
All right. Signing off.